Thank you, Adam, and good afternoon. Lepidico is an ASX-listed lithium development company. Earlier, a couple of weeks ago, we announced a merger with Desert Lion Energy, which is listed on the TSXV. The two companies are very compatible in that Lepidico has a number of proprietary process technologies that allow it to extract lithium chemicals, lithium hydroxide, lithium carbonate from less traditional lithium minerals, being the lithium mica minerals and lithium phosphate minerals. Desert Lion has a number of lepidolite deposits, which is a beautiful purple lithium mica mineral in Namibia. And so by bringing the two companies together, it really allows us to realise the joint ambition of developing a vertically integrated lithium development company right the way from mine through concentration to lithium chemical production. So the merger is a scrip-based deal. Lepidico is offering 5.4 shares for every one Desert Lion share. And to fund the subsequent integration of the Desert Lion business into the Lepidico business and complete an integrated feasibility study there, we've also announced an entitlements offer, which is 1 share for every 9 held, and that's currently ongoing. Those rights stop trading tomorrow. So this slide here gives you a bit of a feel for the company's footprint. We are headquartered in Perth in Australia, and that's where we have our technical capability. In parallel with the feasibility study for what we call our Phase 1 plant project, we've constructed now a pilot plant, and that's in Perth, and it's currently in the commissioning phase. The feasibility study for the Phase 1 plant until recently was contemplating a feed source in Portugal from a mine called Alvaroche, which has been in production since 1992, providing very small quantities of lepidolite into the ceramics industry. It's owned by a private company called Grupo Motta, and we have an ore offtake arrangement with them. We've done some drill programs there recently, estimated the first mineral resource, and we'll be looking at, we're studying now developing a bigger mine there and a concentrator with the objective of then exporting that lepidolite concentrate to our chemical plant. The feasibility study base case is contemplating that chemical plant in Sudbury in Canada. The reason for that is we use a fair quantity of sulfuric acid. And there's 2 large nickel smelters, as I'm sure many of you are aware, in Sudbury that produce collectively nearly 1 million tonnes of sulfuric acid a year. A couple of weeks ago, we also announced entering into an agreement with a chemical company called Gulf Fluor. They are the largest sulfuric acid producer in the Middle East. They're headquartered and operate in Abu Dhabi. And we're now doing a trade-off study with the feasibility study for evaluating building that Phase 1 plant in Abu Dhabi versus Sudbury. So the feasibility study has now taken on an additional location for evaluation for both upstream feed source and also for the downstream chemical plant. And that study is due for completion in the first quarter of next year. So just to give you a distillation of the transactions that we've announced here, these are the timetables for the Desert Lion transaction and also the capital raising that we're currently doing. The capital raising is due to close on the 29th. We're looking to raise just under $11 million there. And the Desert Lion transaction, which is by plan of arrangement, is scheduled to close probably in the second week of July. And Desert Lion has just announced yesterday that they've now got 58% support subscriptions from their shareholders for the transaction. This slide here gives you a summary of the compatibility of the two businesses and what each business brings. Lepidico, as some of you might be aware, has been developing a number of process technologies over the last few years. LMAX is a process that allows us to produce lithium carbonate from lithium mica and phosphate minerals. Lomax is LOH, was announced earlier this year and allows us to produce lithium hydroxide from an intermediate lithium sulfate without byproduct sodium sulfate. And I'll touch on that in a minute. Lepidico also has the pilot plant that I mentioned that we're now building, or we're now going to be operating. That's going to be an R&D facility and also be instrumental in qualification of lithium chemical product. On the other side of the ledger here, on the Desert Lion side, they have got a material resource in Namibia between two deposits called Rubicon and Helicon. The total resource there is about 8.6 million tonnes, grading around 0.5% lithium oxide. Once this transaction closes, we're going to be looking at drilling that quite aggressively to increase the confidence of those resource categories and also look to expand the resource. We will probably also be doing some more redomaining of those domains to see if there is a continuous higher grade lepidolite domain within there. Importantly, the Desert Lion assets sit within a mining license. The license was granted last year for 10 years. The mining license area has extremely good established infrastructure to it. There's a larger exploration package that is over 1,000 square kilometres, and this is a former mining area. So mining first started to take place on these tenements back in the 1930s for tantalum and for petalite. And last year, Desert Lion started the first real initiatives to develop the lithium mica minerals there. They also have bought a couple of mills, a couple of banks of flotation cells. Again, once this deal closes, we'll be looking at evaluating those to see if that is a lower capital way to be developing a concentrator. So, quick overview of the Desert Lion assets. This is that plus 1,000 square kilometre tenement package. The blue area just to the south of Caribib there, where you've got the Helicon and Rubicon deposits, is a mining lease area of 68 square kilometres. It's about 10-12 miles outside of the town of Caribib, and it's all downhill from Caribib to Swakopmund and the port of Walvis Bay on the coast. And there's a rail line that follows that alignment as well. So it is well serviced. The NAM water pipeline also goes through those mining tenements, and Desert Lion has also put a water bore field in. The yellow stars that you see there on the map, those are all mapped pegmatites, so there's plenty of further targets here to be evaluating as well. There you can see a summary of the Helicon and Rubicon resources. They total about 8.6 million tonnes in indicated inferred category, and that's what we're looking at infilling to bring it up to measured and indicated. In the photograph, in the centre of the photograph there, you can see the main Rubicon outcrop. It's very clearly purple lepidolite. There's underground mine that sits underneath that, or just above that zone, which has been largely mined out for petalite. So focusing now on Lepidico's projects and the feasibility study that we're conducting, what you see here is a schematic of the vertically integrated business that we're looking to develop. So we'll take ore from the mine, put it through a very conventional concentrator. The lepidolite and the mica minerals are flat, flaky minerals that stick to a bubble very readily. So we can form a good quality concentrate there. That then gets exported to the chemical plant. The main inputs to that chemical plant are sulfuric acid, steam, and lime. We don't only produce lithium chemical, we also produce a range of byproducts. I'm going to have to fly through this very quickly now, given the fact that we're running out of time. The LMAX process uses common equipment used in mineral processing and the chemical industry. And I'll just go through to the pilot plant. These are some recent photographs of the pilot plant, which is built in Perth. and is going through the commissioning phase. So in summary, our strategy is to fast-track this business through to free cash generation and demonstrate the commercial viability of our proprietary processes. If you've got any questions, please do come and see me in the booth. That was a little quick.